I'm with you on they all think from the angle of what favors white people. But I would say when you think about it from liberal and conservative, they have that strong division. So it's a maybe somehow. They do have, like, what I think American politics is lacking is that. The next one is white American is politically divided. So basically that when you think about their political ideology, you rarely find a white American in the middle ground. Of course, they exist, but majority of them are either super conservative or super liberal.
I think about this one, I'm not so sure. Because now I'm thinking about what we discussed previously, or earlier. I don't think they are that divided. I think the core of it is they are still having this same strong sense of ideology that is white above all. That's how it seems to me. And they are really struggling with that lately. But the goal is to get each other to still be on the same page. But they are struggling to figure out how. But the goal is not different. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I also wanted to say that I don't think this is it could be there's a split, but I think the split is more around, from statistics from the last election, for example, there's a bigger divide between gender. I don't know if you've noticed, men are quite conservative these days and women are quite liberal. So black American, black men, black women, they voted along the same lines. But white men and white women, they actually voted in different groups. So white women tend to vote more liberal, Kamala Harris, and the white men went Donald Trump. So I would say from that perspective, they are divided, but I don't think that's a stereotype that would have held true a few elections back, for example. So I'm with you on they all think from the angle of what favors white people. But I would say when you think about it from liberal and conservative, they have that strong division. So it's a maybe somehow. They do have, what I think American politics is lacking is that middle ground. And that middle ground you will find in Germany, for example, right? Where people know that, okay, I don't have to be Republican or Democrat. I don't have to be extreme on that end or this end. There's a middle ground where, it's a bit liberal, it's a bit conservative. And they don't have that. They haven't had that for a long time. I wanted to say it would have been true for all American races. The only thing is that black race is not that divided. I think they're just largely liberal, for example. Black Americans are just largely liberal. Asian American, they can be very liberal in some elections and very conservative in another election. But you don't see this huge gap between the men and the women. You don't see a huge gap within them. It's only white America where you see this huge difference within them.
I would argue differently though about the black Americans being liberal. I feel like the problem is a lot of black Americans that are conservative, they can't really come out and be public about it. Because then the idea of being a conservative American is mostly a white ideology where they are perceived as racist. So it's almost like, even though I agree with all these narratives, I can be on the side of the people that sort of have oppressed me, or you get what I mean? So it's like, it's really changing. I see a few YouTube channels that are a lot of black Americans that are following some of these guys that are really, really strong conservative guys and have these conservative ideologies, and you would see a ton of black Americans also there. And that, for me, that's why I'm arguing I'm not really sure, because they have a lot of them, but they really can't say it until now that a lot of them are popping out publicly. It's like coming out of the closet, for example.
Yep. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I would still argue that majority of them are still along the same line. Those guys that still pop out are still outliers. I think it takes a level of intelligence to even see, not intelligence, sorry. It takes a level of checking what you are actually supporting to even be able to move to the other side as a black American. Because there's the way, for example, the liberals, the Democrats, there's the way they paint their engagement with black community that on the surface, it almost seems like it's the one that favors the black community the most on the surface. So you really need to do a lot more self-check. So I cannot believe that majority of black Americans are able to do that, because it's just humans in general. It's one of the shortcomings that we have.
I think it still goes to that gender difference. It's still like, if you extend it from the white Americans, it's still the same with black Americans, in my opinion. I feel like most of the men are still quite conservative, and a lot of them are these people that I quote and unquote say like coming out of the closet, right? Like, but still with the vast majority of women, they are mostly liberal.
So on this politically divided one, it's a maybe, right? It's sounding like a maybe. It doesn't seem like we have a clear yes or no.